Welcome back to the channel. Another GTI project. If you have been at any of the local races, I don't even know if I'm there on editing my videos recently. I'm kind of behind. This car's been having a lot of trouble. Started out in a Washington race, and there's been a lot going on. Multiple things have happened to it. And like this thing broke, thought I had a vacuum leak. This thing was pissing raw fuel everywhere. And now the car still doesn't run. It basically, the car basically idles, put under any kind of load, it falls on its face, it stumbles, it sounds like crap. I've done a lot to this car so far. I'm not like a very experienced mechanic. I just try to fix things that I know and read forums and things like that. And this has got me kind of depressed, honestly. It's been a little defeating, but next thing to try, you know, I'm gonna try the next thing. I've done spark plugs, spark wires, spark plug wires. I always want to call that a cap. I don't know why. The O2 sensor, I've cleaned everything. I've replaced a bunch of the vacuum lines, new cap, new rotor, electrical components, this and that. Cleaned everything over here, all kinds of stuff. Next thing, because it seems to be fuel filter. The next thing, I need to see if I'm having something wrong with the fueling system. I could individually test a bunch of things. I don't have specialty tools to test that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to testing the injectors. This is a Mark II. It has a CIS, continuous injection system. They use these on a lot of Volkswagens, some Porsches, Audis, all kinds of stuff. But the way this works is, you know, the fuel comes in over here, and this thing has a flapper valve in there, and that kind of meters the fuel out to the injectors. It's not like a standard car where there's, you know, 12 volts or whatever going to the injectors, and there's high pressure fuel sitting and just squirts in. This thing has a high pressure fuel over here, and then it squirts it through those back into the engine. So instead of testing the fuel pump flow and all of this stuff, I'm going to pull out the injectors and just test those, because I figured if the injectors are flowing the right amount, then there's no problem with the fuel pump. There's no problem with this. You know, I can rule it all out. So I'm going to be working on that. So to do that in this car, it's really a good idea if you have the specialty tool. I'll link it below. But what I've heard is these can be an absolute nightmare to get out, because when they're this old, there's an O-ring in there. The O-ring looks just like this little black one right there. It gets so like old and solid that it won't come out at all. So the injectors are at the ends of each one of these down there. And basically you put this tool in there like this, and then you put a screwdriver in there and you pry up, and it pulls, hopefully pulls that injector out. I've seen a lot of people do this with the valve cover on. I'm going to try that first. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to take the valve cover off, because most people say that if you take the valve cover off, it allows you to put more pressure, because otherwise you're applying pressure to this and you can dent this. So we're going to try it without. So first, I guess I'm going to get some of the stuff, the air or idle air control valve. That's this thing. We're going to get that out of the way. Some of the other, I guess there's not much else that could be in the way. Once that's out of there, I should have pretty easy sight into everything else. So I'm going to get that out of the way and then start trying to get these out. I pre-ordered a bunch of these O-rings. I only needed 4. It's a 4-cylinder, but I ordered like 6 or 8 or something like that, just because they're like $2, so I wanted to make sure I had enough. So anyway, let's get to work. Get this out of the way, get ready to dig into this engine and try yet another thing. All right, so I got the idle air control valve out of the way. Make sure not to forget where this connector goes. But the way this works, you see I got these very large screwdrivers. These are perfect for this operation. This is how it would work to get this thing out of here. So see if I can do this with one hand to show you how it works. This kind of clips behind, come on camera, clips behind there. And you don't have to loosen that, because that will disconnect the injector. So once that's in there, you take the things like I had it when I first put that in here. If I can do this without that falling, and not necessarily do it without falling, but get it close to it. You get that in there like that, and then push down on this, and the injector should come out. I've heard it's pretty hard to get it out, and then just go up. Oh, Okay, or it just pops out just like that. I was not expecting it. I've seen videos of this online where people are like using giant pry bars to get this thing out. This engine has 308,000 miles on it, so yeah, there's that little O-ring right there. It's actually looking decent. I'm going to, yeah, it's got a little O-ring there. That big O-ring, this is usually what gets super stiff and brittle, but this one seems to be moving. So what I'm going to do is get a little cup, fire up the engine, because it's not electric. Remember, it's mechanical. I'm going to fire up the engine and then see and time it and see how long it takes to fill up a can, and also check the spray pattern to make sure it is spraying appropriately. Turn it off, it's good. So I don't know if I'm going to film the rest because I kind of have to reconnect this, but the spray pattern looked really good. I'm going to do that on the rest of them, make sure it's not dirty. I think, I'm not a mechanic, but you know, generally you want to make sure that they're able to squirt out the right amount of fuel, but being that this is a mechanical fuel injection, it's not like I can just hook the injector up to power and let it squirt fuel, you know, it doesn't work that way. So it seemed to have a really good spray pattern on that one. I'm going to try the rest, and I'm going to replace the O-rings. This big one here, and then there's a little one at the tip down there. I'm going to replace those two. There's a third O-ring that's, I think, on the thing back there. But yeah, I temporarily kind of set this in here so I can at least drive the car, or run the car to test the thing. On to the next three. I'm no mechanic, that wasn't exactly scientific, but I could see the spray pattern. All of them seem to spray a good atomized pattern. Lots of, you know, not streams, but actual like clouds of gasoline, which is kind of what you want. And they seem to spray the right amount. So we're gonna give it a start here, and now it's all put back together. It's probably gonna run just as shitty as it did before. It always kind of ran like that, and then it would just kind of get cold or start stumbling really bad. Yeah, see, there it goes. That's stumbling. That's what she used to do. Just as bad. And kill it. Oh well. If you got any ideas, hit me up in the comments. Don't know what else I'm gonna do to this car. I had a mechanic come out to the house. He said he needed a bunch of special tools and he didn't have them, and he wouldn't really give me much to go on. All he said was that this flapper valve sometimes gets stuck. Carburetor cleaner soaked the shit out of it, and it actuates when you're moving it. It doesn't seem to get clogged at all. He was seeming to think that it did. All I do know is you never really mess with this in here. It's kind of like a magic black box. I guess the next thing I'm gonna try is this the fifth injector. I don't know exactly how that works. I gotta do some stuff, but I guess I'll end the video here. If you got any ideas, let me know. We'll probably see this at the next race, just enough to drive across the line and get some points if I can't get it fixed, but wish me luck. Thanks for watching. There's other videos if you want to see cool stuff about this car. Thanks for watching. See ya.